Hello everyone watching at home, you're with Adelaide Eternal and we're bringing you our Christmas Classic event. So Classic is an Adelaide Eternal format and it's all about super degenerate strategies, powerful cards, a bunch of cards that keep those things in check, and no shuffling. So these are pretty fast-paced games you'll find. I'm Sarven McLinton, I'm in the booth here with Brendan Dobson.
Hi there.
So I'm actually in this match.
Yes.
I'm on the left.
So Sarven here has been the mainstay of the format. He does a lot of the organising stuff for it. He typically plays tempo and control decks and just focuses a lot on the Eternal formats. He's actually got 19 top 8s in these. So he's played quite a few. He has 2 Vintage wins, 3 Legacy wins, and also a Highlander win.
Decent conversion rate, I guess.
Yeah, not bad.
Top 8s.
It's quite a lot of top 8s.
Well, I might be converting one today on the list that I'm on, maybe. So I won't ruin it for everyone where I place, but I am on a particularly hateful deck. It is red-white Hatebears, and this is completely unlike what I will play normally. I'm known for mono Brainstorm, so if you can play Brainstorm in a format, I'm on it. But the reason I played this is because every single deck that I played a bunch of matches with Barb, who's on Death and Taxes in this tournament, and other people during our playtesting sessions. And every single deck I made lost to Death and Taxes. Every single one. And I'm like, well, this is going to be bad if I'm just going to lose to D&T. And then I noticed that D&T was beating every other deck in our playtesting session. Like, I think Socrates was on... I can't remember what he was on, but he was 0-9 against Death and Taxes.
High Tide or something?
High Tide. Like, it was... Everything we brewed, we lost to it. And so I made a decision 24 hours before the tournament. I'm like, I think I should just play the best deck. And I thought Death and Taxes was the best positioned deck for what I was expecting, which is a whole bunch of combo and, just some fast decks and things that can be maybe glass cannons, so you can disrupt them with one thing or 1 or 2 Hatebears. And then I decided that I really didn't want to be playing fair in that I didn't want to go on the draw, wait till turn 2 to deploy Thalia, Guardian of Thraben. That feels terrible because my opponent's just going to go off on their own turn 2. So I was like, what can get that out faster? I don't want to play Lotus Petal because there's a Nombo with Thalia and all those things. And so I'm like, Simian Spirit Guide. Oh, this is great. So I went through iterations with Elvish Spirit Guide and Gaddock Teague in the deck, and it just wasn't good enough. So I was like, okay, Simian Spirit Guide. What can I play that's red? Oh, my most favourite hate of any format, a Moon Effect. So it was like, well, I want to play Magus of the Moon because that guy beats for 2. And it continues with the Hatebears principle. So hence I'm on red-white Hatebears. Strange. Yeah, it's not normal for me.
It's also really good because you get to play Cavern of Souls and almost everything in the deck's a human.
Yeah.
So you just get to splash this Magus of the Moon.
Yeah, I think I went like my first Cavern is human, and then I play Magus of the Moon with no red, and then my second Cavern would always name Spirit because I can play Spirit of the Labyrinth and Simian Spirit Guide, which is an ape spirit.
Synergy.
Yeah, amazing. Anyway, so off my silly red-white Hatebears deck and onto a real deck, which is Bargain Storm. Have you seen this in action? I know you played against it.
I did play against it, and he very quickly demolished me in game 1 with it and stormed out. And it's quite it's an interesting deck. Instead of being able to search for what you need to find with Infernal Tutor and the like, it plays Yawgmoth's Bargain. So it's a bit more expensive, but once you get there, you then get to draw, depending on how much life you have, maybe 15 cards, and get enough rituals. And even if you need to then tendrils for a small amount first, and then to draw more cards to find your second tendrils. So the deck plays quite a bit differently. It has to play the 3 Tendrils of Agony to be able to regularly hit them. And then it also has to play a lot of the blue cantrips that are in the format, which is like Inserum Visions, Preordain, and Sleight of Hand, because they're just the best that they're up. So it has to sculpt and then gets to combo out like that.
Yeah. Well, let's see how it performs. It all depends on that role, I reckon, because if he's on the play, he could get there out before my Thalias.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so we have shuffled up. Okay, Michael's drawing his hand. I saw an LED in there, and a preordain. I honestly can't remember exactly what happens in the match, but I do know that I deploy Hatebears. So there's a Mother of Runes, Wasteland, Richmond Port, couple of planes. Nah, it goes away. It's because I know what Michael is on, and I know that a fair hand of Mother of Runes and Wasteland and Richmond Port is not going anywhere.
I think I also saw 2 Swords to Plowshares.
2 Swords to Plowshares, yeah.
So you were already on a 5.
Yeah, that's right. So I mulligan that terrible hand. Yeah, I think that's because this is the 4th round, we all basically know what each other is on. So like I think, mulliganing more aggressively is perfectly fine.
Definitely in this format where you have certain cards that are just very good against the other decks. So you need to find the right piece of hate.
Thankfully, being a Hatebears deck, I do have main deck pieces of hate, like pieces of hate. So it just went all mono pirates now. So I got main deck hate pieces that actually deal with Storm. So
yeah.
Here we go. So land, Lotus Petals, Preordained, Dark Ritual. It's a balanced hand, and I'm on Thalia, 1 land, 1 land Skull Clamp. Yeah, so I'm like, I need this to be a land, and I'm like, Richmond and Port, put it on top. Because if that was not a land, it's straight to the bottom, because I need to deploy Thalia, right?
Yeah. I guess being on the draw, though, you do get to see a couple more cards.
Yeah, this is true. Yep. So he's using Serum Visions here, and obviously setting things up. He knows I'm on Hatebears, so he's probably going to try and turbo out a win really quickly, because he knows that in his main deck he probably doesn't have an answer to a Hatebear. So that's why it's all Scry at the bottom, right? Also,
the basic island lets him make sure he can get around Blood Moon. Oh, sorry, not Blood Moon. Wasteland. So.
Yeah. I was like, oh, by the way, I'm deploying Skull Clamp. I think I said, like, play Skull Clamp, go. Oh, wait, I have to play the Skull Clamp. I made multiple jokes about how I will never activate Skull Clamp this game. I said, this is not going to happen.
It's dead card.
The literal dead card. I'm going to play Hatebears, and I'm going to keep the Hatebears. So he's preordaining here and scrying to the top. So he's got to be afraid here of, well, he's shocking. So yeah, he's definitely using as much card selection as possible. Now I'm going, yeah, that's fine. As long as you're doing card selection and not about to play Lotus Petal and Dark Ritual, I'm okay, because I'm going to get to deploy Thalia next turn. And anyone who's played Storm and face down to Thalia knows that it's really hard game 1.
It's pretty bad feelings.
Yeah. So there's the port out my Thalia, and just go, okay. I said I'll probably do nothing else this game. I said, I'm going to turn this guy sideways.
Oh, and you even get to port down his lands.
Yeah, port down lands. Port down lands.
Like a double tax.
Don't activate Skull Clamp. Attack for 2 every turn.
That's only 9 turns to go.
Yeah. And see, that's the funny part is, like, when you're in Hatebears and you're in this position, you're pretty confident. But when your opponent keeps playing, the longer they keep playing, the more worried you get. Like, do they have something? He's got something, like he's got like a main deck Chain of Vapor, end of turn, and then totally do something crazy next turn. And I don't know, like he's definitely in the tank, but I was confident until he continued playing. And he's playing 1 to play. It's a Reign of Filth exiled with Chromox, so he's deploying more threats. I have Mother of Runes, and it's Mother of Runes is basically going to be protection for Thalia from blue, so that he can't be Chain of Vapored, right? Like, that's basically what it's going to be. Toxic Deluge. I mean, he doesn't play it in the main deck, but I'm worried now. So, how much do I do here? Yeah, I play an Ether Vial for 2 because that's the tax, and that way I can deploy Mother of Runes next turn with a counter on 1. But I'm definitely worried. Like, there was a point where I'm like, maybe I don't play Mother of Runes here because I could get deluged for both of them.
Yeah, that's fair. The other thing is that you've got, I think you had another Thalia in hand, did you?
Yeah, I got a second Thalia in hand.
So as soon as Vial gets on 2,
yep,
you just kind of get to
keep it there and be ready.
The other thing is he's missing land drops.
Yeah, he's had to deploy 2 Lotus Petals as 2 mana. 2 mana.
Jeez.
Yeah, Wastelanding something is good because it's basically just compounding Thalia. Wasteland by itself and Rishon and Port by itself, that Rishon and Port and Wasteland by themselves, bad. When you have Thalia out, insane. Like, so good. They're like time walks.
Like, at this point, the game is quite over.
Yeah, yep. But he's still playing, so it means I'm scared.
The thing is as well, like,
He's got something.
he may have outs.
Yeah,
and you play to them, so...
Yeah, that's right. If he goes Toxic Deluge, a land drop and Toxic Deluge next turn, I'm still worried. But he doesn't know that I've got the Ether Vial set to 2 ready for Thalia, but it's something I'd be worried about if I was him.
Yeah, definitely. Or any of your other Hatebears that are all on 2.
Yeah, they're all scary, right? Like Spirit of the Labyrinth in response to him casting Yawgmoth's Bargain. Pretty good.
Terrible.
You can't do anything. All right, but look at this. Dark Ritual. They each generate 1 mana, 2 Lotus Petals, and here we go. We've got an actual bargain. So I go, yes, that's okay. But you'll note something interesting here, and this is something quite funny. We had a banter about this afterwards, but he goes, I've got the bargain. And I said, yep, draw some cards if you would like. He continued drawing cards. I was like, I'll track your life total. And then partway into it, he's like, hang on. I have no starter mana.
Oh, no.
Because with Thalia, you can't actually... Thalia's out, so you can't start anything.
You can't even LED, you can't do anything.
Yep, so...
Gee.
Yeah, so...
At that point, you almost wonder whether or not the deck should just play Simian Spirit Guides.
I think that could be a good call. Yeah, like you could play Elvish Spirit Guide so you can have Abrupt Decay in the sideboard, or you could play Simian Spirit Guide so you could have Past in Flames in the deck. At the moment, there's no Past in Flames in the deck because it's so hard to make a 3rd color of mana. But you could definitely try and play it. It's really hard. Past in Flames is really tricky when you can't play Infernal Tutor. So it's there's definitely going to be a build someone's going to find. It's not just blue-black. They'll find a way.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we had a chat here about I'm like, yep, I'm afraid of bargain, but yeah, go for it. And he's like, oh wait, I've got no way to continue. So he could draw a bunch of cards, pass to me, go to his turn, try and win off it, but I'm going to attack him for 3. So he couldn't actually draw that many cards. He was on 11.
It's almost a little bit ironic that Lotus Petal might not be the best thing in this slot for adding just 1 mana, even though it adds Storm. Because of bargain, because you're able to draw so many cards, you're going to be able to hit that Storm count to 10. Yep. So instead, what you really just need is just that free mana quicker.
Yeah, start a mana quickly, right? So maybe the Spirit Guides are where we want to be.
Yeah, maybe.
All right, so in the sideboard, he's going to bring in the Chain of Vapor, the Void Snare, and the Massacre. All right, Massacre is really good against me, and it's one where like you really have to play around it, but you also can't play around it. Like if they have Massacre, you're going to lose the game. But if they don't have Massacre and you play around Massacre by not deploying your threats, and you just give them like 6 turns, give them a bunch of free turns, so you lose yourself the game. So there's a really, really fine line about playing around Massacre. You can do it, you just have to be very wary about how you do it and how much you commit or don't commit to it.
Yeah, it's a very fine line.
When it comes to sideboarding, I am pretty sure that I end up showing the camera my hand of what I bring in and what I take out. But the cards that I would go straight to are Phyrexian Revoker, because you literally name Yawgmoth's Bargain because it is the win con of the deck. This is the way they can't actually very easily storm at all without Bargain. So you just name that. So this is what I bring in: Thorn, two Stony Silences, and 2 Revokers. Take out a Skull Clamp, 2 Swords to Plowshares, and a Mother of Runes and something else. So yeah, Mother of Runes is you don't want to side them all out because you do want to protect yourself against Chain of Vapor. So naming blue to protect Thalia is very, very relevant. But it's one of your most lackluster cards because you're not trying to fight a creature battle, nor you're trying to bash through creatures, nor you're trying to protect against large amounts of removal. It's only a small amount of removal, spot removal. And Stony Silence you play because they have 4 Lotus Petal, 4 Lion's Eye Diamond, and 3 or 4 Chromox and shutting off literally 12 sources of their mana in the deck is insane. It's basically like if you could play a spell that said target opponent, or like a meddling mage that simultaneously named Dark Ritual, Reign of Filth, Cabal Ritual, and maybe 3 other cards. Yeah, you'd do that.
Yeah, probably. Seems good.
Yeah. It's like a Cabal therapy and proactive Cabal therapy for all Dark Rituals and Cabal therapies. So yeah, that's the equivalent it is, but for Lotus Petals and Lion's Eye Diamonds and so on.
That's actually another possible reason for moving to the Spirit Guide.
Yeah,
options.
yeah, you're right. Yeah, like just having another thing that doesn't get wrecked by hate. I'm on the draw here, and this is where I want to do the thing that we were saying before, which is the reason I'm playing red, mull into a hand that has Simian Spirit Guide in it so that I can deploy Thalia on my turn 1, which stops his turn 2. So, but I don't know whether or not that plays out. Let's see what happens. My hand looks like 6 lands. 6 lands. Oh no, 5 lands, Stony Silence, Aethersworn Canonist. That's a keep, right?
Yeah, it's not bad.
He's got a Void Snare. Is that what it's called? Yeah, Void Snare. It's like basically a bounce spell. 1 mana bounce spell. But it's a sorcery. But it targets anything. So Preordained turn 1, he's probably just trying to fix to make sure that he doesn't get wrecked by a particular hate bear. He's got the Void Snare. He might be trying to dig to actually find a bargain so he can cast bargain early because he does have Ritual in hand. So I drew another land. But this is the joy of Hatebears. Oh no, it's not another land. Is that an Aethersworn Canonist? I'm not sure. This is the joy of Hatebears where you're just like, yeah, I have no way to fix my draws. I just play my with my starting 7, so I better choose a good starting 7. And I chose a starting 7 with Aethersworn Canonist in it, so it's pretty good.
It's probably not a thing that you're used to being.
No, it's really weird. I'm like, where's my brainstorm?
No deck manipulation.
Oh, keep some lands in hand because I could draw brainstorm.
Well, luckily here for you, the Stormplay didn't just go off on you. So,
I was worried. Like, I definitely said to him, this is your turn. I said something like, I'm a Hatebears deck. He knows that 2 is my number. So, like, if you go off here, I'm done. He knows I don't run my Break Trap or something. But I'm probably going to move towards it to have it in the sideboard for this kind of situation. Yeah.
Especially moving forwards, if people realise that there's less force of wills in the format, so that you end up being able to play faster but more glass cannon decks.
Yep. So I deploy Aethersworn Canonist here. So I have Canonist and I got Mage the Moon.
And he just missed his land drop.
And he missed a land drop, yeah, and he doesn't have a blue source. I think I have Wasteland in hand, so I can have the best of both worlds if I want to deploy a hate thing and also Wasteland. But the joys of casting Magus of the Moon is pretty huge. It's the reason it's in the deck, right? Cast this.
Yeah, fair enough.
So I don't know what I do. We'll find out pretty soon what my plan is here. But I think I was thinking, here we go. Deploy the Magus of the Moon. And the reason I did that is because I have a 4th land. So being mana efficient, deploy the 3-drop here. Next turn, deploy 2 drops. 2-drop hate pieces. So I got Phyrexian Revoker and Stony Silence and another Aethersworn Canonist.
And I thought you had Thalia in there as well.
Thalia? Wow.
Yeah, yes, pretty gas.
Choice. Keep in mind, though, I do have Aethersworn Canonist, so I have to deploy an artifact. So I choose Phyrexian Revoker and something else. But he's deployed his artifact for the turn, or he's deployed an artifact, which still leaves him a spell for the turn. I draw another land, but I don't care, right? I got dudes. All right, this is what it feels like to bash face. That's really weird.
At this point, do you play around Massacre?
Yeah, like I think this is a really legitimate concern because if I deploy 2 Hatebears, then I will get massacred and it will be a bad feeling. So I think I end up splitting the difference. So I can play around Massacre without stopping my clock, and that's by playing Stony Silence. So this way I deploy a hate piece that doesn't get killed by Massacre, but I can also deploy a hate piece that attacks for 2 in the form of an artifact. So I have to play Phyrexian Revoker. It's a single decision. I can't decide on Thalia here, obviously, because my only the Sworn will turn it off. So yeah, Revoker and name bargain. And so yeah, here now the clock is 2 chunks of 6, and the difficult decision is next turn, do you deploy a threat so that you can finish the game 1 turn earlier, but you get wrecked by Massacre? So that's the next turn is a big decision.
Yeah, it's tough.
So, because I'm terrified of Massacre.
Yeah, understandable.
Yeah. I can rebuild. My hand means I leave Stony Silence in play and I get to cast the Thalia in hand and a second Aethersworn. So I can recover from Massacre, but it doesn't feel good. You know, it's tricky to know what the right play here is. Anyone who's familiar with Death and Taxes in Legacy can tell me, because I'm not sure. So, yeah, here we just go bash in, and I'll go. I think I end up going, I will present lethal. It's risky around Massacre, but, you know...
You've got enough other hate.
I've got enough other hate. So
and because he's on just 2 lands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, can't get there.
So, is that 3... No,
Tendrils, Dark Ritual, he has the win on... He actually has the win.
Yeah, if you didn't have your hate pieces out.
Yeah. The hate piece literally shut... He's explaining to me that the hate pieces literally shut out his win, but his hand wins without bargain. So he could actually push through, but without the Phyrexian Revoker.
Wow.
And he was explaining, I had the right number of hate pieces, and he said, like, if you don't have Aethersworn, then he's able to go off.
So that turn 2 Aethersworn won in the game.
Yeah, turn 2 Aethersworn, and also Thalia here, because he can Void Snare 1 hate piece.
Oh, and you can't, because he doesn't have blue.
But he doesn't have blue. So the Magus of the Moon. So yeah, exactly the right
everything
things.
just fell in place.
So that's what Red White Hatebears looks like in Classic. I hope you enjoyed that, and we'll be back with the final round and the finals of the tournament. Thanks for watching, guys.